What if I told you that the bottle of fish oil sitting in your cabinet is a lie? For decades, we have been brainwashed. We have been told that to find the ultimate source of health, we must trawl the bottom of the oceans. We decimate marine ecosystems, hunting for the holy grail of omega fatty acids. We look to the depths of the sea, believing the answer lies in the flesh of the salmon. We were looking in the wrong direction. While we pillage the oceans, the true king of survival has been waiting right here on dry land. It grows not in fertile valleys, but in the harshest, deadliest soils on earth. This is not a fish. It is a berry, a forgotten, bright orange explosion of life known as sea buckthorn. It holds a secret that modern science is only just beginning to admit. It contains 15 times the vitamin C of an orange. It is armed with 190 bioactive compounds. But here is the statistic that should make you question everything you know about nutrition. This is the only plant on the face of the planet that naturally contains the full spectrum of omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, and the elusive, miraculous omega-7. It is stronger than salmon. It is more potent than any synthetic pill. Yet you will not find it in your local supermarket. You will not see it advertised on TV. Why? Because this plant refuses to play by the rules of industrial convenience. It has been erased from your menu, but it cannot be erased from history. Welcome to Ancestral Garden.
The archive opens in the year 1200. We are standing on the wind-swept steppes of Mongolia. The air smells of dust and iron. This is the era of the Golden Horde, the unstoppable cavalry of Genghis Khan. In this brutal landscape, a horse is not just an animal, it is a tank. It is the engine of war. But war takes its toll. History tells us of a desperate moment during the great conquests. The Mongol horses, pushed beyond their limits, began to collapse. They were emaciated, their coats dull, their breathing shallow. They were useless machinery in a land that showed no mercy. The generals ordered them to be left behind. They were abandoned in the wild thickets to die, a death row for the exhausted. But when the army returned months later, expecting to find piles of bleached bones, they found a miracle. The horses were not dead. They were galloping with a ferocity that shook the ground. Their bodies were muscular and lean. But the most shocking detail was their skin. Their coats were no longer dull. They shimmered like spun gold in the sunlight. They were radiating energy. The soldiers realized these animals had been grazing on a peculiar, thorny shrub covering the landscape, a shrub laden with bright neon orange berries. The ancient Greeks had seen this too. They named the plant Hippophae, literally translating to shiny horse. This was not just animal fodder. This was ancient biomilitary technology. The Mongols realized that the energy stored inside these berries was condensed solar power, capable of resurrecting the dying and turning them into conquerors. From the saddle of a war horse, this secret power fueled the largest contiguous empire in human history. But as the centuries passed, the swords were laid down, and the knowledge of the shiny horse began to fade into myth. However, the story does not end on the battlefield. 800 years later, this same orange berry would leave the soil of Earth entirely. It was about to face a new enemy, an enemy far more deadly than a Mongol sword. It was about to face the radiation of the cosmos.
The timeline jumps forward to the height of the Cold War. The battlefield is no longer the grassy plains of Earth, but the silent, deadly vacuum of space. In the race to conquer the stars, Soviet scientists faced a terrifying problem. Beyond the protective shield of our atmosphere, cosmic radiation acts like an invisible fire. It shreds DNA and burns human skin. Conventional medicines were useless in zero gravity. So the scientists looked back to the ancient texts. They looked back to the shiny horse. When Yuri Gagarin became the first human to leave our planet, he was not just protected by metal and engineering, he was protected by the oil of the sea buckthorn. It was an essential part of the cosmonaut diet and a topical shield against radiation burns. While the West was developing synthetic pills, the Soviets were weaponizing nature. They understood that a plant capable of surviving the freezing gales of the Himalayas could help a human survive the void of space. But the true test of this plant came in April 1986, Chernobyl. When the reactor exploded, it unleashed a hellscape of radioactive poison. The victims suffered burns that modern medicine could not touch. Antibiotics failed. Skin grafts failed. In that hour of desperation, the government authorized the mass use of sea buckthorn oil. It was the only substance capable of regenerating flesh that had been destroyed by nuclear fire. It soothed the burns, repaired the cellular damage, and saved countless lives from agony. If this plant can act as a shield against nuclear fallout and cosmic radiation, imagine what it can do against the minor assaults of your daily life. Imagine what it can do against inflammation, aging, and pollution. So, here is the paradox. Here is the question that should make you angry. If this berry was good enough for Genghis Khan and essential for Yuri Gagarin, why have you never seen it in the fresh produce aisle of your local grocery store?
Walk into any supermarket today. You will see rows of perfect, shiny apples. You will see bananas shipped from halfway across the world. You will see shelves stacked with farmed salmon, dyed pink to look healthy. But you will not find sea buckthorn. It has been erased. Not because it is dangerous, not because it is ineffective. It has been erased because of a single ruthless concept: industrial convenience. You see, the modern food industry is lazy. It wants fruit that behaves like plastic. It wants thick skins that can survive being thrown onto trucks. It wants sugar-filled varieties that addict your palate. Sea buckthorn refuses to comply. It is a rebel. The bush is protected by vicious, needle-sharp thorns that destroy mechanical harvesters. The berries are soft, delicate, and bursting with juice. They bleed when you pick them. They cannot be stacked in a crate for weeks. They demand respect, and the industrial machine does not know how to give respect. It only knows efficiency. So they made a choice for you. They chose to deny you the medicine to sell you the sugar. They decided that you deserved the convenience of a strawberry rather than the power of the sea buckthorn. They kept the secret, and they kept the omega-7. Let's talk about omega-7. This is the scientific redemption. You have heard of omega-3, 6, and 9, but omega-7, or palmitoleic acid, is the ghost in the machine. It is incredibly rare in the plant kingdom. While fish oil floats through your system, omega-7 acts as a master builder. It specifically targets the mucous membranes of your body. Think about it: the lining of your stomach, the moisture of your eyes, the elasticity of your skin. These are your body's first lines of defense. In a world where we suffer from leaky gut, chronic ulcers, and dry, aging skin, omega-7 is the mortar that repairs the cracks in our biological walls. And yes, the berry tastes sour. It is astringent. It shocks the tongue. But that shock is the taste of potency. We have been trained to think that food should be sweet and easy. But nature teaches us a different lesson. The medicine is in the struggle. The bitterness, the sourness, that is the sound of 190 bioactive compounds waking up your cells. They hid it because it was too hard to sell. But now you know the truth.
But the power of sea buckthorn extends far beyond your own body. It is not just a healer of men, It is a healer of the earth. While modern agriculture rapes the soil, stripping it of nutrients and leaving it dead and gray, this plant performs a miracle beneath the surface. It is a nitrogen fixer. Its roots form a sacred alliance with the soil bacteria known as Frankia. Together, they pull nitrogen directly from the thin air and inject it back into the ground. It creates its own fertilizer. It turns dead sand into rich, dark, living earth. This is why nations are planting great green walls of sea buckthorn to stop the spread of deserts. It is the only thing stubborn enough to stand against the encroaching sand, holding the planet together with its iron-strong roots. So here is my challenge to you. Do not just look for this berry in a bottle of supplements. That is the old way. That is the dependent way. If you have a patch of land, even just a small yard, you need to plant this. Think of it not as a crop, but as a biological fortress. The thorns that destroy industrial machines will become your security system. Plant it along your perimeter. It grows into a dense, impenetrable wall of living barbed wire that no intruder wants to cross. It protects your home from the outside, while the berries protect your body from the inside. In a future where supply chains break, where pharmacies might be empty, and where the soil is exhausted, the person who has a hedge of sea buckthorn is the person who has a pharmacy, a grocery store, and a security fence, all alive, all self-sustaining, all requiring zero permission from the system. The salmon can keep the ocean. You can have the king of the north. We have walked through the history of Mongol warriors. We have flown into the radiation of space. We have exposed the laziness of the modern food industry. Now, the choice is yours. You can continue to swallow the sweet, empty calories that they sell you, or you can embrace the sour taste of reality. You can embrace the plant that carries the code of survival in its orange blood. Knowledge is not lost. It is simply waiting for you to pick it up. Plant the seed. Reclaim your health. Welcome back to the Ancestral Garden.